Yes.
That's true. It appears to be working, however.
Well,
at least for now.
Seems a bit sus.
Just a little.
Nope.
A little bit. No? Not sus?
I'm with you on that one. Nope.
Nope.
Oh. Damn.
Because you're the bravest among us.
No, I get it. I got it the first time.
Got it.
Suspicious. That's what that word means.
Hello and welcome to episode number 822 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, August 9th, 2022. I'm your host, Chris Johnston, and with me as always from Canada is Mr. Greg Seward.
As always, except for last week.
No, you were here last week in a recording.
No,
that we did early.
Last week you recorded early.
Oh, right. The week before.
Early.
Oh, my God. It's been so long.
Don't you remember? We did that
No.
episode about reviews.
Right. That was a good episode.
That was a good episode.
I was pretty proud of that.
Turned out pretty well. Phil doesn't know because Phil
feels
didn't
like every
listen
time
to
Phil
it.
is in here, we step up our game and produce something great.
We
But that's
do.
because you realize that you have a lot to compensate for. If I'm not here to keep the show alive, you guys are like, oh, we actually have to do something this week. We don't have Phil to fall back on.
Yeah.
I think we should put it on the ballot in Kansas and find out what the state thinks.
Why do you keep bringing politics into my games, Greg? You don't even live in this country.
Like peanut butter and chocolate.
There you go. Phil, you didn't listen to last week's episode, I guess, huh? No.
It was a review thing of some sort.
Review thing, yeah. You're not really a podcast listener, right?
I don't listen to many podcasts. Well,
you listen to a
especially,
few.
I got to listen to you guys most weeks anyway. So if I get a chance to not, I'm taking that opportunity.
But Phil, when you're not here, we're our best selves. It's a different show.
I know. We have so much to make up for, as previously discussed.
It's all right.
While you guys were talking about
of
reviews,
course.
I was out living reviews
I don't understand that.
by reminiscing with the ghosts that haunt the old EGM office.
Yeah, tell
They
us
let you
about
in?
the reason why we didn't record an episode as usual last week was because we were all traveling, doing different things.
All three of us.
What I love is we
Phil,
were all traveling to the exact same area and didn't see each other at all.
That's also true.
Wait, now, where were you, Greg?
Indianapolis.
What were you doing in Indy?
Just visiting the scoops.
Oh, okay.
I got a cheap flight and wanted a vacation and went and visited the scoops.
Visited.
Nothing says vacation
Indiana.
destination. Nothing says vacation destination. More like Indianapolis.
Well, I mean,
You know, Greg.
the
There's
Motor
more than
Speedway's there,
corn
and I'm a
in
little bit.
Indiana.
born in Indiana.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, that downtown
That's a
Indianapolis was
sensational-
really nice.
What's that?
Downtown Indianapolis was really nice.
I mean, you got to say that because you know people who live there.
No, because there's a reservoir that's like a cultural walk there. Like all the museums and parks are all connected by this nice reservoir that you can walk along or paddleboat along.
Okay.
You don't have
didn't
to
do
deal
any of
with
that, right?
car traffic. I walked along though.
So
So
you
you went to the museums. Are you crazy?
You can walk
Who
or
has the
pedal
time
boat?
for that? What's a reservoir? So there's sidewalks on either side.
So are your shoes getting really wet, or are you just listening to grinding
Remember last week when Phil wasn't here?
pedals
I do remember.
along the
That was a good
asphalt?
episode.
That was nice. Yeah.
Anyway,
So
That's where I was.
Indianapolis, you were
and I went and saw
traveling.
the Indy 500 museum, which is important to me.
Oh.
So
There you go.
looking at a bunch of
That's
old race cars from
worthwhile.
like 1911. It's pretty neat.
Oh my!
Yeah.
That was
Did
when
you get to
that was
sit
when-
in any of them?
No, you can't touch them. Are you crazy?
Oh.
They'll fall apart.
Well, what
They're over
kind
100
of fun
years
was
old.
that?
It was enough for me.
Did they have a kiosk with Gran Turismo 2?
They had
set
one
up
with Forza
Okay.
where you did a qualifying run at Indianapolis.
Oh really?
Oh,
simulator.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very
Did you
nice,
win?
Very nice.
Yes, I did.
Congratulations!
Thanks.
Did they etch your name into the wall of the museum?
They wrote it onto a card that they probably erased at the end of the day.
Still,
You
I
beat
hope
all
you got a
those
picture of
kids.
it.
But for the time that I was in Indianapolis, I
Mhm.
was the fastest man in Indianapolis.
Oh.
Who visited?
Well,
that
not really,
museum?
because there were like 3 racing series visiting there that weekend too. But
Oh well.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
that's That's what I was doing.
Well, then, Phil, you were also traveling. You hinted at living that old EGM lifestyle,
That's true.
right? Did
I
you
did.
go to the Onion Grill?
I don't believe the Onion Grill exists anymore.
The
I
Onion
don't think it does
Grill.
either.
No.
Oh.
The Onion Grill was a hamburger joint in Lombard, Illinois, where we would
I forgot about that
semi-occasionally go
place.
for lunch.
Occasionally, because it was a real greasy burger.
It
a
was.
real heavy meal.
I
Let me
remember.
tell
I
ya,
remember going to Fuddruckers more, which is also gone now, right?
Is it?
I think so.
I don't
think
know.
Fuddruckers doesn't exist anymore.
Do they not?
I think they
remember
do.
reading that
I think they do.
I remember
There was
reading
one back where I was living in California.
What is there?
I mean, that was
Yeah.
5 years ago, certainly, but
Just the Canadian branch of Fuddruckers is closed.
No, I guess it's it hasn't closed. But I was sure that I saw that it wasn't doing well.
they may have closed several locations. Mayhaps. I was back in Illinois.
Fuddruckers is the GameStop of restaurants. They're never going away.
In that they have a lot of used merchandise on the shelves they try to sell as new.
That's right.
Gross.
Yeah. This burger looks like a lot of people have been picking it up and flipping through it.
There's definitely going to be like a stock thing happening with Fuddruckers too. Yes. Yeah.
No, I went back
But,
to Illinois for to see the family.
Yeah.
So we were back there. And one of the days, my wife had gone off to do some family stuff with her parents, and Finn and I were looking for something to do, and I discovered that they up at the Oakbrook Mall. CJ, you remember the Oakbrook Mall?
I remember it well. Yes.
Yes. Right near the Oakbrook EGM office, back when we moved there. They had a pop-up store, a Stranger Things pop-up store at the Oakbrook Mall, and it was going to be there through the first, I think, 3 weeks of August. And Finn is super into Stranger Things right now. He loves Stranger Things, so I was like, well, let's go. Let's go up there. We can see the pop-up store. We'll get you a shirt or something.
Yeah.
So we went up there, and he enjoyed it quite a bit. I bought some really overpriced Stranger Things merchandise for him.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, if I'm right here, let's go on a little side jaunt over to the old Lombard EGM office. I could have gone to the Oakbrook one, but
the Oakbrook one, it doesn't look any different.
Well, I mean, neither
at least from the highway.
Neither did this one.
Close as I've gone
to
it in years. Yeah.
I felt bad enough dragging my kid to one old office building that I used to work at. I wasn't going to do it to two of them. So,
okay.
Probably
a good idea.
Yeah, I know, right? So we drove over. We drove past the Yorktown Mall.
Yorktown Mall, yeah.
The Yorktown Mall, and found the old EGM office and went inside, snapped a few pictures. There's not a whole lot inside there at the moment. Certainly the old EGM office was vacant. The kind of front desk area where I think Nuke was back there. Is that right?
No.
Wasn't Nuke back there?
I don't think so. I only remember Nuke being on the third floor.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
they were in
Yeah, whatever the case is, the second floor office where EGM was.
Yeah, Intelligent Gamer was over there.
Yes.
For a while, and then the PlayStation magazine was on one side.
Yes.
As well, and then EGM was across the hall.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are it's completely empty now. The downstairs office where Mohawk and Headphone Jack was made.
Black Pearl Software.
Was that Black Pearl?
I think that was the name.
Oh.
Was it? Maybe not.
Wasn't Black Pearl? Weren't they like a THQ?
Oh, you're right. Black Pearl, I think, was different.
Yeah. Whoever made Mohawk and Headphone Jack.
Yeah, they were down.
Yeah.
One floor down.
That office is being used by something or another these days.
Yeah, the thing about the EGM office that I thought was always interesting is there are two buildings that look pretty much identical.
Oh yeah, very much
next to each other. And the EGM office, there were 20-something video game dudes in and out of that building all the time. And also there was just a lot of rowdy stuff happening there.
Of course.
Decapitato games and whatnot. And I don't know if you ever went over to the other office building. Same floor plan, same layout.
Oh, really?
But it was Bizarro. You've entered the Bizarro world where there are no longer any video game anything happening. This is a serious office building.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
No, I never went into the...
It's the Anvil Office Center, I believe is
that what it was
called.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 1920 Highland Avenue. I was surprised to see that it was still there.
It's still there. It's still there. And actually, we were over there around about lunchtime, and Finn wanted some lunch, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, after we got out of the Stranger Things store, because we were there pretty early in the day, and we get out and we're in the Oakbrook Mall, and Finn's like, "Oh, let's go look around the mall." And I'm like, "This is not a mall. You're not gonna find anything interesting in this mall, Finn. This is a hoity-toity,
exactly
grown-up mall.
This is a grown-up mall.
A grown-up mall. There's nothing fun here.
I hate the grown-up malls.
I know, right?
Yeah,
it's all high-end clothing stores and furniture and nonsense that
I know.
Who wants that?
No one wants that.
So
no Lego store here.
What's that?
There's no Lego store.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I don't know. There might be a Lego store.
There might be.
But I don't know. But whatever the case is, we were over by the York Town Mall, and I said, well, you know what? If you want some lunch, maybe we can go in here. I've not been in this mall in 20 plus years.
Right.
So
do they even still have a food court? Who knows?
That's just it. I was bracing Finn. I was like, look, malls are not what they used to be.
Right.
We're probably going to see it's probably going to be very depressing.
Yeah.
Maybe there'll be a lone Orange Julius stand or something.
Was there a Barrett's audio and video where you could go up, look at the front projection, big screen TVs?
Oh my goodness!
With the red, green, blue lights.
Yes.
Yeah.
To my shock, though, Yorktown Mall actually still pretty busy. A lot of stuff open. The food court was still there. It was still hopping. So he got his
amazing.
He got his Panda Express. He had a good time.
No arcade though. No arcade.
No, the arcade that was attached to the food court is walled off. Sadly, they did have a separate little arcade though, kind of in a different area of the mall that was mostly redemption machines.
Of course.
Yeah. But
I see.
But
well, that's awesome.
EGM offices again, which was a treat.
Yeah. I like my Max Headroom angle here.
Yeah, you really good. You need that animated.
It's nice. Yeah, I need to animate that.
Did you hear that they're working on a new Max Headroom?
I did.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited about that.
They did announce that, and Matt Frewer is back.
Yep.
Full on playing Max. Yes.
That's amazing.
It's not even we're going to have him.
Who knew he was even still alive?
Hey, come on.
I'm just saying. What have you heard about Matt Frewer in the last 20 years?
Not since Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
He's been doing some animation voiceover work.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I see.
Watch what you say about Matt Frewer.
Too late.
Well, Phil, I'm also in Illinois right now.
Well, I'm not.
Although I wasn't in Illinois over the past week. We went to Michigan. We
Upper
went
or
on
lower?
vacation with my dad. Lower Michigan.
Okay.
We're right, not too far into Michigan, north of Indiana, really. But my dad's family had a summer cottage, like a real just shack up there, and they would go there. They would go to the beach in the summers, and we thought it would be a fun thing to go up there and hang out at the beach. Because my family, my dad also took us up there every summer, several weekends this summer. So I was very familiar with the beach in Michigan. So it was a very nostalgic trip. I hadn't been there in 20 plus years, maybe 30 years, really. And it was a pretty nostalgic trip. Got to hang out at the beach. Got a little bit of some vitamin D on me. And some sun. Yeah, I got some sun. Hung out by the water, the real Sea of Thieves. Yeah.
Wow.
No.
I mean, it's a lake, right?
It's a lake, right?
Yeah. Not oversell it.
Yeah. But it was really fun, and yeah, we had a lot of fun over the past week, and we also saw our friends Mike and Katie came up. Mike was on. If anybody remembers the show that we did like at my wedding, because we did an episode at my wedding. I believe Mike was a guest on that.
That's right.
But he and his wife came up, and then my wife's friend Nikki also came out, and we just hung out at the beach. It was also my wife's birthday, so we had a lot of fun. It was a very nostalgic trip, very laid back. Yeah, it was a good time.
Cool.
So
very nice.
Yeah. And then apparently there was some video game news. I didn't really pay much attention to it last week.
I definitely didn't. I was too busy eating White Castles.
Oh, I saw that. I'm sorry, Phil. Do you have any sort of abdominal pain after?
No.
No,
I didn't. Because I'm not a wimp.
But you're old.
People who are like, oh, you ate a fast food burger. Now you're gonna have the.
But wait, what? Sorry, I wasn't really paying attention. Did you say White Castle?
Yeah,
you can't compare that to other fast food burgers.
No.
Oh, of course they are. They're just tiny. If anything, they're better for you because they're tiny.
No.
Yeah.
Not really.
I mean, when you eat like a dozen of them,
yeah,
they add up.
But sure.
Anyway.
Anyway, so there was some video game news that happened last week. We can talk about a little bit of it. We can group some of these stories together, in fact. So Oculus was the first sort of company to announce a $100 price increase in their Quest 2 headset. We sort of alluded to this in the last episode. But since that time, there were a lot of earnings calls that happened, and it had been asked by several analysts, whether Sony or Nintendo was thinking of raising the price of their hardware because of the weak yen currently. Both of those companies, Sony and Nintendo, have said no or no comment at this time. They said, no plans or just no comment. But we did get the announcement of the Steam Deck in Asia, in several Asian territories, including Japan. And I think the top level of Steam Deck is close to $1,000.
Jesus Christ.
Yikes.
So just buy a computer.
Pricey. Yeah, it's pricey. But currency exchange rates, there you go. So it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next couple months. I mean, maybe we'll see prices of video game hardware in the US go up. I know Canada has certainly been hit with
yeah, Canada's where they make their money up in North America.
Yeah,
and maybe Mexico. I have no idea
true.
what happens with prices down there, but because what tends to happen is that whenever the dollar fluctuates against the American dollar, like when the Canadian dollar gets stronger, we never see a decrease. But the second the Canadian dollar gets weaker, we see an increase. And then that increase just never goes away, which is why we're paying over $100 for video games now.
Ugh.
So, yeah. Indeed. So we'll see what happens there. In cloud gaming news, Sony and the Backbone One controller, which is a really nice mobile, or it's a controller for your iPhone that you can plug in. Sony has announced that they're partnering with Backbone to do an officially licensed PlayStation version of the Backbone One, including it's white and includes the PlayStation logo on the back. So that's cool. That's a cool addition. Now, really, they gotta come up with some way to play streamed PS Plus games on the iPhone, because I don't think that exists yet. You can do remote play on the iPhone, no problem. There's an app for that, but there is not currently a way to do PS Now streaming on the iPhone. So hopefully that'll come. Hopefully this is sort of a precursor to that. But I guess we'll see. That was exciting, though. The Backbone One is $100, but it's a really nice controller if you are an iPhone user that is using cloud gaming. I use it a lot. I used it a bunch.
I could see you using that a lot.
Yeah, I used it a bunch. I played Sea of Thieves this week from vacation, and played it over cloud using the Backbone One, and it's really quite nice. So
it was
I like it.
One of the things that and so I went to Toronto last year to hang out with Benjamin Rivers, and the Scoops were there as well, and Joey has the Hori what are they called? They're for the Switch, but they're
Split
like
Pad Pro.
That's what it is. And then so when I was down there visiting a couple weekends ago, or last weekend, I tried it out because we were sitting there. At one point, we were sitting in their apartment, and we were all just kind of playing our Switches. And I hate playing my Switch in handheld mode because I hate the controllers.
The Joy-Con.
The Joy-Cons I find supremely uncomfortable after a few minutes. He's like, we should try these out, and he sort of just pops them off his Switch, and I use them, and it was so nice.
Oh yeah, they're great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like
they're great.
It feels like a real controller. It's awesome. So highly recommend. I need to buy myself a set. I haven't yet. Unfortunately, that also means that you got to buy yourself, if you do travel, you got to buy yourself a case that holds them as well. You got to buy yourself a bigger Switch case. But I mean, honestly, for how comfortable they are, oh man. Yeah.
Yeah. The only drawback is that they don't do rumble or gyro. And if gyro doesn't to the games that you're playing,
the rumble, yes, I agree. The gyro, I mean, if I'm playing in handheld mode, normally I'm not using gyro controls.
It
anyway.
Depends what game you're playing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I use the Split Pad Pro a lot to play Fortnite, just because I find the travel on the analog stick of the Joy-Con to not be as good. So with the sensitivity settings that I have on the PlayStation 5 version don't transfer well to the Joy-Con. So I need the longer travel of the Split Pad Pro.
I find anything where I need to use the triggers regularly or the shoulder buttons, like especially playing like Mario Kart, because you're constantly tapping the right shoulder button and you're usually holding the left shoulder button. And it's just like I find that at that point I'm just really uncomfortable. But using the split pad where it feels like what I'm so used to, because I mean on PlayStation and Xbox the triggers are well behind, and you have game changer.
I agree.
They're great. Recommend.
Completely agree. And I really want to look into some of the other. There are other brands that do similar things to the Split Pad Pro, and of course I really like Hori as a company. They make really good products, but some of these other sort of Joy-Con, sort of Pro Joy-Con models that do have the rumble. There are a couple that do have rumble. I've always wanted to try those out. Maybe I'll get around to that at some point this fall. But let's continue talking about cloud gaming for a second here, because Logitech has announced that they have entered into a partnership with Tencent to bring a cloud gaming handheld to market this year that supports multiple cloud gaming services. And that's all they've said about it. It was just a tweet, so really not very much information at all, except that they are doing this sort of dedicated handheld.
So it's an Android tablet?
So probably an Android tablet. Yeah, there are already devices that are like this, but not made by companies like Logitech, right? Like this is sort of a bigger name getting into that space.
Logitech's a pretty big name, but yes, I do see what you're saying. Not Tencent.
Well, no, I'm saying the other people who have done it.
Oh, I
who've
understand.
made similar products are not a big name. This is the first that's like a really big name is doing a cloud handheld.
Right. Okay.
And most of those other handhelds are ones that you can also play retro games on. They're really sort of advertised as retro game handhelds that, you can also install this Android app and play xCloud on this. So what do you guys think of a cloud-based handheld? No interest?
Cloud gaming is just not something I take advantage of.
Yeah, same here.
You know, I get why it's important to you because you actually do the cloud gaming thing pretty frequently. But for me, the only time I ever use it is if I'm trying out to see, hey, I wonder what this is like, and that's really it. Like my gaming is 99% tethered to a television screen and a console. Like
same here.
Well, have you used it on Xbox where you use cloud gaming to try something out instead of downloading it or
I have found on Xbox when I've tried cloud gaming, it's terrible. It's really the quality was awful. I have tried it on PlayStation 5 since they introduced the new services and actually found it really good. So yeah, I mean, I've tried cloud gaming previously on Xbox and it seemed fine, but the last couple times I tried it, and maybe it was because I was trying Flight Sim because I wanted to go back and mess with Flight Sim, and I mean, it looked like I was watching like a terrible YouTube video from 15 years ago at like 420p or whatever, you know what I mean, 480. Like it had a ton of artifacting and it just looked awful. Maybe I just picked some high traffic days or something. But on the
is it? Well, let me ask you this: is your Xbox console wired or is it Wi-Fi?
Ethernet on everything.
It is wired.
Yeah, Ethernet on all my consoles.
So I see. Well then, I guess we can move along.
I like how your kind of workaround for cloud gaming not being terrible is, well, do you have it connected
wired
to the wall by a giant wire? Which that's going to work great for the portable system.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think my experience with cloud gaming, it varies wildly depending on the internet service that you are attached to.
Yeah, and that's kind of the rub in that situation, right? Is like, but if everything good, then it's going to work fine. But there's a lot of failure points there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's worse than it degrades worse than like a video call on like Google Meet or something. Like, those are better than when your internet is spotty and you're trying to play something via cloud.
Right.
Like, it's just not as great. And it's interesting to me that like I think it's Verizon that is doing a promotion with Xbox where you can get Xbox Series S or something through them. And they really are kind of hyping up the cloud gaming aspect of it because if you have a phone through them as well. But cloud gaming on like a cellular network is not at all. I just have not had very good luck with that at all. So
yeah, and I feel like up here in Canada too, where our cell pricing is terrible. At least I find it as compared to the US. Like we still have a lot of size limits, and then we get charged
data caps.
Crazy. Yeah. So I'd be very reluctant to try that at all in Canada.
Yeah. Well, then, I think it's time to move along to what you've been playing, and we'll start it off with Greg.
Well, it's funny you're talking about the backbone and how I was saying that I wouldn't normally need something like that because I don't do a lot of phone gaming. Well, one of the things that I did try out this week, so when I was visiting with Joey and Jessica and we were driving around, Joey was constantly playing the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster soundtracks.
Oh,
So while we were driving around in the car, that's all we were listening to. Mostly Final Fantasy IV and Final Fantasy VI, because they're all orchestral, right? And they're fantastic. So that really, by the time I was ready to fly home, I was really in the mood to play Final Fantasy. And of course, the Pixel remasters are not on a console yet, so I would have loved to have been able to download one for the Switch. So instead, I actually downloaded the game on my phone, which I don't remember the last time I downloaded a game on my iPhone. That was $20.
Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh.
But I mean, whatever. I didn't care. I just wanted to play Final Fantasy. So,
Yeah.
I was playing Final Fantasy, the first one, the Pixel. I think it's called Remaster, Pixel Remaster. They're on Steam Deck, yeah, but I don't own a Steam Deck, and I don't see owning a Steam Deck in the near future, especially not last weekend. So yeah, I was playing that, and
why spend $20 when you could spend $800?
Right, exactly. I mean, I don't have a lot to say about it. The music is gorgeous, and I love the first Final Fantasy. I know that it's super simple compared to the later, like 16-bit ones, or even the later 8-bit games. But I have a really soft spot in my heart for the original Final Fantasy because it was sort of my introduction to Japanese role-playing games, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, I think I'm like 5 hours in. I don't know if I'll ever complete it. But I still maintain that I would really, really love to see them do the HD 2D treatment with these games, but I don't see it happening because I don't know, man. Like Square Enix is weird about old Final Fantasy games now. I was thinking about this earlier because for the weekly commute this week for my Patreon supporters, I was talking about Final Fantasy Anthology out of my game collection mainly because it sort of popped out at me on the shelf because that was the first game I ever did a walkthrough for Expert Gamer was Final Fantasy VI as part of the I think it was Anthology when it was the 5 and 6 collection.
Yeah.
And I was sort of saying like, man, we were really in a bit of a golden age of Final Fantasy at the end of the 90s because not only were we getting 7, 8, and 9. Which was sort of not the relaunch of the series, but it definitely set the stage for what Final Fantasy was going to become over the subsequent decades. But at the same time, they were re-releasing the old games like crazy. Yeah. Like you could get them, you could get them on game. There were Game Boy Advance versions, and there were PlayStation 1 versions, and there were PSP versions of the earliest games as well. And they were like the 3D remakes for like the 3DS and the DS. Like they were really going crazy with this stuff. And now we seem to be in this era where, I mean, the Pixel remasters are nice, but you see what they're doing with things like Live Alive. Live Alive looks gorgeous, right? And it's like, I can't help but imagine how something like a Final Fantasy 4 or 6 would look in that engine. And they just don't seem to want to do it.
I know, and the weird thing about that is Live Alive is published by Nintendo. It's like, why did Nintendo have to come through as the publisher of that?
Right.
For Square Enix, like it seems like that would be something that would do well on any platform, not just the Switch, and also why aren't the Pixel remasters on the Switch? That's
aren't they on? That's the other thing. Why aren't they on the Switch? They really need to be. Yeah. But I mean, it's nice playing it on a touch screen was interesting. I wouldn't call it a good experience.
And you only got Final Fantasy 1?
Yeah, I wasn't buying all of them. That'd be crazy.
Well, well, I mean, they released them a few months apart on PC and mobile, and 6 at least does have some echoes of the HD 2D style, at least in some
with the
sequences.
opera?
Like the opera scene is more HD 2D-ized
Right.
than others.
See, but then that's just a tease.
Well,
So,
you're
hey,
right.
look what the rest
You're
of
right.
the game could look like.
Yeah, I mean, I have played a little bit of the 6 pixel remaster, and I'm a huge fan of Final Fantasy 6. That was the first RPG that I finished, and I really liked it. I thought it was they've done a really good job,
and they have. I don't mean to make it sound like they haven't. It's just it's not what I want the HD 2D ones, but yeah. So that's what I was going to say. I mean, this is well done. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And I think if I'd had a controller, I would have enjoyed it a little bit more because they do. I mean, you can either drag your thumb around or finger around with a virtual joystick, which has never ever felt great.
Right.
And I think it's even exacerbated a little bit too by the fact that the original Final Fantasy. I mean, a lot of old school RPGs, you could only move in the 4 cardinal directions. But now with these pixel remasters, you can move diagonally, and the like how imprecise a virtual D-pad is combined with that, I just never went where I wanted to go a lot of the time. But they also do have an option to like a little bit of pathfinding, so you can just sort of like tap on the square you want to go to, and your characters will try to get there. So they did make some concessions for that sort of thing, and it is good. I was really enjoying it. I mean, I enjoyed it enough to basically play it for the entire trip home. So and the music is gorgeous. So I did like it. I really wanted to come out on a console. The Switch, really. I really wanted to come out on a Switch, because even after I'm sitting here complaining about how we're not getting the HD 2D treatment, I mean, if they come out on a console, I'll be there buying them and playing them for sure.
Definitely. What they should do is for Switch, they should offer them up as a collection, and you pay one price.
I'd love that
to just get all of them.
Did they do remasters for all 6 of them, or was it just like
all 6?
Oh, really?
Cool.
Oh.
Yeah, and they did them a few months apart, and then 6 got delayed a little while because they were doing extra stuff to that. Then when it came out, there were still some problems. So I think they've fixed a bunch of them, but that has also gotten criticized for its fonts, its weird choice of fonts.
And
I hope when they do release it on the Switch, they fix some of that stuff. Would be nice.
I doubt they will.
It's weird. It's Square's biggest franchise, and yet they are not treating these early entries with as much care. I don't know.
Is it now, or is Dragon Quest? Because I mean, Square Enix is one company now, right?
Oh,
so
I guess that's true. I guess that's true. But Final Fantasy is still pretty big in the West,
right?
I would say bigger than Dragon Quest in the West.
You saying that actually brings me to the point I was about to make, which is that Jessica and Joey and I were talking about this. Just sort of me belly aching about the 2D, 3D, or 2D HD stuff. And Joey made a good point where he called out, and I don't know how true or not true this is, I'm just taking his word for it, where like something like Live Alive, he says like they farm out that development work.
Yeah.
And maybe the idea here is that they don't want to farm out Final Fantasy because it is a flagship, right? But they've also got their main teams working on bigger games,
possible,
more important games. But like Triangle Strategy and Live Alive aren't like their core teams working on that stuff. They're farmed out. So that might be a reason too. Because Final Fantasy is still a huge franchise for them, but maybe that's why we're not getting that sort of thing. But anyway, so I was playing that. The other thing that I was playing is actually just last night and tonight. Actually 2 nights ago and tonight. The next 8 tracks dropped on Mario Kart 8.
No, that's right.
The new bonus tracks. So I was playing those today. I went through them all this evening right before the show, actually, and I was trying to play them online on Friday night with the folks that I stream with, and I was having a terrible time because I was having awful connection issues. I kept dropping, which is weird. I've never had that happen in Mario Kart 8 before. But I was having terrible connection issues. So these new tracks, the 8 new tracks, I gotta say, I'm a little bit indifferent on them. I do love that they have the one that is basically the 3D remake of like the very first track from the Super Nintendo game.
Right.
And you get the music there as well, which is kind of fun. So I'm digging that. But otherwise, like none of the tracks are particularly exciting tracks for me. None of them I have like really fond memories of. Like there's the Waluigi pinball is pretty interesting.
I've heard good things about that one.
It was a DS track, I believe, or a 3DS track at one point. CJ's gonna lay down. He's gonna podcast like one of his French girls.
Get comfortable.
We can see the top of your head. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah. Well, now it looks like a Tinder profile.
There we go.
Oh God.
Oh my.
You really need your hair spread out behind you though. Anyway, and there's like Calamari Desert from N64 as like a classic track. If you liked the N64, I really want them to do Wario Stadium from N64 personally. But other than that, like there's not a whole lot to write home about there.
Didn't they do Wario Stadium
man in his first Zoom meeting angle?
I know.
Where we can see like
they do Wario Stadium in the first drop?
I didn't think so. No, they did something similar to Wario Stadium, but I don't think it was Wario Stadium from N64.
Okay.
And the other thing that I'll say is that the tour, is that what it's called? Mario Kart Tour?
Yeah, the mobile version.
The mobile version. Previously, I really liked that they'd included a track from there because I kind of like the idea of what they've done in there, where it's just sort of a big spider web of roads that as you complete a lap, you just take a different route through this area, right? And I kind of like that because you're doubling back on the field sometimes, and like you're intermingling with, if you're leading, you're intermingling with carts that are way behind, or if you're way behind, vice versa. I find it's cool, it's interesting. But they've got two more tracks in there this time from Tour. Excuse me. One is New York, which kind of fits because, with Mario Odyssey, there was a whole sort of New York section. So it still feels Mario-ish.
New donk.
Yeah. And then actually it's great because maybe it's supposed to be Times Square, but there's a big, like, very vertical screen where you see a game of Donkey Kong being played when you're starting the race. And then one is Sydney in Australia. And I'm totally don't give a damn about Mario Kart in real world locations. Like it does nothing for me from a standpoint of playing Mario Kart. Like I would rather have more classic tracks than that.
Green Hill Zone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure. I'll take Sonic tracks over visiting Sydney in Mario Kart. But I mean, it's just a small gripe, but just in general, this collection of tracks didn't feel exciting to me. I hope the next round, God knows when we're getting it, but I hope the next round is more exciting.
Yeah, me too. I haven't gotten to play any of these tracks, but I'd like to check them out. I did hear they made some adjustments on some of the first drop tracks as well.
Oh, really?
Because there was one track in particular where like the cars didn't move correctly, or they didn't move at all. Coconut Mall,
really?
Yeah. So now the cars move just like they should. So, yeah.
I didn't know that.
There you go.
But anyway, yeah, that's it. That's all I've been playing.
All right. Well, Phil.
Yes.
What have you got for us today?
Well, I have not been playing too much because, as I mentioned, I was on a trip, so I didn't really play any games while I was oot and a boot. I did pop on earlier today, Sunday, as we record, and played a little Tetris 99.
Oh,
they're doing a catch up on missing themes this week.
Yeah.
Where if you've happened to miss any of their cute little themes they have, Each day you can pop on and earn a different one. And I've only missed one theme, and it was the Mario Golf theme.
Oh, all
And
right.
today was the kind of makeup day for that. So I popped in early this morning, played a game, and it turns out, you know how Tetris 99 works. You play games, you earn points based on how high you rank, and then when you get up to 100 points, you unlock the limited time skin. Turns out now you only need to earn 10 points.
Oh, I might play it.
Oh,
So they make it go super fast. So one game I was in and out. I was
Wow.
very pleased. Yeah,
that's
It was
nice.
very
One
nice.
time in and out. It's all it takes.
that's it. If you're good at it,
If you're Phil.
if you're good enough,
If you're good at it.
Wow.
Yep.
so that's all I had to do. Now I'm complete with all my themes in Tetris 99 again,
Nice. Your Tetris 99 clear.
which is
Gotcha.
good.
Tetris 99 was left feeling ashamed and alone, confused.
But as we pointed out plenty of times, there's no point in earning all of these different themes because they gave the best one away for the very first time.
Right.
They did, yeah.
Which I didn't bother getting. So
The Game Boy.
actually, maybe I did get that one. I think that's the only one I got.
That's the only one
I
you
would
need.
not be surprised. That's the only one you need, yeah.
It's the Game Boy skin is the best one in the game, of course.
Yeah.
So, aside from that, though, I was delighted and surprised, as I think many people were,
Mm-hmm.
when we got a new Nintendo Switch release this week of the Neo Geo Pocket Color collections.
Oh, yeah. Round 2 came
Yeah.
out, right?
Well,
Or am I thinking?
I don't know what you're thinking.
I don't know what
No.
I'm thinking.
They're just they've released some individual releases. You know,
I think they announced round 2 of the Pocket Collection. That's what I was thinking.
oh, really?
I
maybe.
think so.
Okay.
It's
It's like
possible.
Card Fighters Clash came out a while ago.
Right.
But this week, out of nowhere, and I never figured we'd get this re-released, but the Mega Man game, Mega Man
Cool.
Battle and Fighters, which I believe was only released in Japan. It certainly wasn't released in the U.S. I don't think like Europe got it or anything. I think it's a sole Japanese release. I of course imported it back in the day because, of course, I did.
Because
But,
you're Phil. Because you're Phil.
Because it's me. Because it's
Yeah.
me. So of course I did. But this is the Neo Geo Pocket Color port of the two Mega Man arcade games.
Yeah.
Mega Man Power Battle and Power Fighters, which are also both now available on the new Capcom Arcade collection
Yes.
that just came out.
Hmm.
So it's an embarrassment of riches if you're a fan of the mostly mediocre Mega Man arcade games.
There you go.
So, but I did pick it up, and I played through it once. It's not a terribly long or difficult game, but it's good to see it back. So, yeah, it was a nice little treat.
Nice.
And then I also pre-ordered, and this should be out.
Oh.
Let's see, what's today? Today is the 7th.
Yeah.
I pre-ordered, and I'm looking it up because I want to get the full.
I think it comes out on the
localized
11th.
title. Because you can now pre-order for Nintendo Switch. It comes out on the 11th, I believe.
Yeah.
Shinchan,
Oh, right.
Me and the Professor on Summer Vacation, The Endless 7-Day Journey. That's why I had to look that up.
Quite
But
a title.
that's the Crayon Shinchan game that came out like, what, a year plus ago over in Japan? And it's that
Yeah.
kind of like summer vacation slice of life simulator. And we're getting a localization of it, and I am delighted. I'm so looking forward to playing this. And
Yeah, me
out on
too. I
Steam as well.
pre-ordered it as well,
Oh, good.
just to support this kind of release.
Right?
I'm also looking forward to playing it, but I wanted to make sure and support this
Look at
because
you.
it's very cool,
Putting your
and I enjoy Shinchan as well.
Well, yeah, and apparently
Yeah.
it's like a spin-off of a long-running series of Japanese games.
Yeah, the director
You
of
look
this has done several like summer vacation games that are very nostalgic,
exactly, yeah,
and that was the whole thing. And people were asking if it was ever going to get an English translation, and I
yes,
guess you know, I guess the outcry was enough that they actually did it. So it's
yeah.
not dubbed or anything; it's still just dialogue translated, but still, that's something. And
Oh yeah,
I'm happy that we're getting that. So.
I
I think
am.
it's the same director as Attack of the Friday Monsters, right?
I believe that is correct. Which I still
Yeah.
have not played.
It's a great little game. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was on the 3DS
The
eShop.
3DS.
Is the 3DS eShop still up at the moment?
I think so.
Okay.
I believe so. Yeah.
Is it going away soonish though? I can't remember. I can't keep track of
Yes.
all this.
You won't be able to pay for
Okay.
games after a certain point. Yeah.
But I have it. I bought it ages ago. I just never got around to playing it. I really should.
Okay.
Because
You should check it out. It's
yeah,
very
I've heard
good.
nothing but great things.
And it's
But
not long either. So
oh
I
good.
mean I finished it. So, you know.
Oh, so. But yeah, I'm very excited about the new Shinchan game. So,
Excellent.
and it's on sale right now.
Yeah.
They're doing that like pre-order sale
A
price.
launch
So
discount.
you can
Yeah.
get it for a little bit cheaper.
That's right.
So, but that's all I have been playing or have spent money on in hopes that I will be playing it soon.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
What about you, CJ?
Well, Phil, I will tell you.
Okay.
Let's see. On the plane, I started playing Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity
Okay.
for no real reason. But my daughter has gotten really into Breath of the Wild, and we even watched some of the cutscenes from the DLC in that. And I figured maybe she would enjoy Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity, and I also wanted to see how it ran on the OLED, which it still doesn't run great on the Switch OLED. Well, of course not, because the Switch OLED is no different, really, than the regular Switch. But I really just remembered how much I enjoy the Muso gameplay when it's a license that I like. That's the important part.
Why do
It
you
has to be
hate
a license that I like.
Chinese and Japanese history?
I don't. I just want it to be a
He just doesn't like
license
that
I
license.
have a stake
Yeah.
in, right?
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm not playing that Fire Emblem Muso game because I don't need to. Or the Persona Strikers game that's a Muso. No, not into it.
Okay.
Anyway, but yeah, I've enjoyed Age of Calamity just because it really feels like fanfic. Yeah, it's very much what could have happened 100 years prior, and it's official fanfic, really. But and I think there's some twist in the game that it ends up not being real or something like that. So it's not canon or anything. It's just very fictiony. But I was having fun, and I've gotten a little further in that game, and I don't know if I'll finish it. It's a long game, and also, of course, with any Muso game, they want you to grind out every little bit of cosmetics or challenges that they have put forth. But then my daughter saw me playing it and wanted to play it as well, so I ended up buying it for her because it was on sale, very rare Nintendo sale happening. And so I bought her Age of Calamity, and so she's been playing it as well, and she's digging it because there are a lot of cutscenes in Age of Calamity versus Breath of the Wild, which has very, very few, really. So she's really enjoying it because she's super into Legend of Zelda now. She's even started reading the Twilight Princess manga.
Oh.
For Zelda, so she's super into it. Let's see what else. I played Rift Tracks the game finally. We got, as I mentioned earlier, we were on a trip, and had a bunch of friends around. So we played the Riff Tracks game, which is great fun when you have a group of people together. And you come up with riffs on movie clips. So they play the movie clip. You have a limited amount of time to come up with a riff and submit a riff. And then it plays the clip again. And then text-to-speech thing reads your riff.
Yes.
And it can lead to some funny moments. You can also add sound effects. So if you really want to add like a fart noise at the end of your clip, you can do that.
All games need that option.
All games, yes, exactly. But it was a lot of fun, and very recently they added a bunch of new movies, a bunch of clips from a bunch more Riff Tracks movies. So there's like 50 more films that got added to the rotation. So we had a lot of fun with that, and then we booted up several Jackbox games. So of course I have like all of the Jackbox party packs that have come out for the Switch, and we're playing it on Switch, and just went through a bunch of those. Went through Fibbage, and we did Faking It, which is a really fun one where you try to suss out the faker in your midst. So if you have a big group, we had 6 people playing. It can be really fun. Like Faking It gives 5 of the people that you're playing with, or all the people you're playing with, a direction, and then one of those people gets is the faker, and they just have to do whatever people are doing it, whether they're holding up fingers or they're pointing at other players or making a face, and whatever the question was or the prompt was for the other players, they have to react as if they know what's going on. And then the other players have to kind of suss out who's faking it. So one of them was who has quoted The Simpsons in the last week. And and so you had to raise your hand if you had. So time is up, and we all like I raise my hand, my daughter raises her hand because we quote The Simpsons, and my wife raised her hand, and I'm like, oh, like my wife doesn't really watch The Simpsons, definitely doesn't quote The Simpsons. So it was like, I'm very obvious.
I don't know. I've hung around with you two, and whenever you say anything, she's usually just like, gives that sort of disapproving Marge groan.
No.
So
it can't be counted as a Simpsons quote. I'm sorry, but it was really funny. So we played a bunch of that, and a couple of the questions actually like had come up in conversation like before. So some of the people there were talking about Steel Magnolias. Not me. I've never seen Steel Magnolias.
Yeah, sure.
To be clear. But the prompt was raise your hand if you've seen Steel Magnolias. And our buddy Mike had said that he'd never seen it in conversation earlier that day. And then he raised his hand.
How does that come up in conversation?
I don't know. It just did. I don't know how it came up. But then everybody knew that he was the liar because he had said earlier that he had not seen it. But he didn't even know what the question was. He just raised his hand and tried to fake through it. But anyway, I love the Jackbox games, and we'll be buying all of them, of course. And I think like the 8th one comes out, or 8th or 9th comes out this fall. And I'm very much looking forward to that. But those are great party games. I also played some Sea of Thieves over cloud gaming, and I was able to name my ship. So the big update to Sea of Thieves is that you can be a captain of your own ship, and you can name your ship finally. It's a very long-awaited update to the game. They had been talking about captaincy before Sea of Thieves came out, and it's 4 years later, and it finally is out with this update. So I have my 3 ships. They're called Serenity Now. Is one ship. It's the sloop. The Brigantine is called Blast Processing.
Nice.
And then the Galleon, which is the biggest ship in the game, is called the Little Sus.
Nope.
So it's a little sus.
Nope.
But anyway, so yeah, I've been playing that, and the quality of life updates that they've made to that game, or the UX updates that they've made to the game, have been great. And I can't wait to actually finally get it back on my computer and play, not just over cloud gaming, next week. So that'll be good. Anyway, that is what I've been playing. I guess that means it's time for tweets.
Oh, twiddly diddly dee. Oh, twiddly diddly dee. Tweet, tweet. Oh, tweet, tweet.
I guess I probably should have looked at these tweets, huh?
Oh, my goodness.
All right, let's do this one from Hacker Alias Gunstar Gamer, who says, how does this generation rank for you guys? I feel like there hasn't been a great selection of fun games on the PS5 or Xbox Series. And fun is in quotes.
Um,
I disagree with that only because Ratchet and Clank exists.
yeah,
That was a really fun game.
I feel like I've played a fair amount of games on my PS5. I haven't played a lot of Xbox Series X games, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
Well, there haven't been a ton of exclusives out on the Series X
Right.
or the Series. I mean, Psychonauts came out on PlayStation as well.
yeah, and
That
either
was-
way,
that was a
I
good
wouldn't
time
really.
game.
I didn't like that game at all. But
No?
no.
Okay.
Um,
I guess you don't like fun.
Oh,
clearly,
oh my.
I don't know. I mean, I don't feel like. Yeah, I mean, I remember playing Miles, Ratchet and Clank,
Miles Morales, yeah.
Gran Turismo 7. I'm still kind of split on. It's close to being really good, but it's still kind of a mess in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I haven't focused on this generation of consoles too much, but I don't know that that's because there aren't a lot of great games coming out for them. More than me just. I've kind of shifted my focus away from the newer consoles in general over the last X number of years anyway.
Yeah.
Always sort of happy to pay more attention to older games right now. So yeah. Joe Baldwin in the chat is asking if I played the new Horizon, and no, I bounced off the new Forza Horizon pretty quickly. So
Yeah.
but it's a good game. I mean, people
Sure.
like it.
Is that a reference to Forza Horizon or
Or
Oh,
Horizon
yeah.
Zero Dawn.
Zero Dawn I bounced off of as well, but
Yeah.
I just don't like video games. I don't know if you've noticed or not. Yeah. No, I'm just.
how about Guardians?
Oh, Guardians. That was a great game.
Guardians.
There you
Come
go.
on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guardians of
See,
the Galaxy.
there's good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's definitely good stuff.
This,
True.
this generation still feels kind
New?
of half formed to me, though.
It does, not only because the systems, although they're almost 2 years old at this point,
I know.
but it kind of happened when the pandemic happened, and development on those next gen games just seems
Right.
like it's been delayed.
Somehow in the pandemic, time sped up and completely stopped simultaneously.
Yeah, it did.
Because I've even nowadays, like I'm still every now and then someone will say how old the Switch is. I'm like, no, it isn't.
Yeah.
Like to me, the Switch is still a new console, and it's like, but it's
the
not.
Switch came out in
I
1892.
know.
The Switch has been out for a while,
Yeah,
but
That's right.
it's still great games. You know,
yeah.
what can you
Yeah.
do?
Exactly.
Maybe it's more indicative of like feeling that way has more to do with the fact that the breadth of sort of AAA releases is so wide when it comes to genres
Mm-hmm.
that didn't used to be that way. You know what I mean? Like and it feels like a lot of them have become so specialized where it's like
Which one? The first person shooters or the first person
first-person
shooters?
shooters or service games. Like I'm thinking like Sea of Thieves is an example, right? Not that that's a bad game, but definitely not for everyone. Fortnite, good game, not for everyone.
True.
Et cetera, et cetera. So, I feel like it would be easy to think that this generation is not as exciting as previous generations, but it depends on what kind of games you're into. Like if you're only into sort of like the third person narrative stuff, then Sony's got you covered, right? But you might not be playing a lot on other consoles, stuff like that. Like that might be part of it, but I do agree that the pandemic really kind of screwed up this generation in a big way.
Yeah. Well, also this generation of consoles is a lot closer to PC
Right.
than previous, so
They've
like
been losing their
people looking
personality for
graphical,
generations. Yeah.
a graphical leap, it just didn't happen that way. You know, it's sort of diminishing returns on that. So,
Right.
I mean, understandably, you're just not seeing the type of first party amazing looking games yet.
Right.
And then third parties are all doing multi-platform stuff anyway, so it's nothing that's going to be tailored to a specific platform.
That's fair.
All right, let's do this one from Hacker Alias Rambus Dunk, who says, enjoyed hearing about CJ's infamous Bubsy box quote on MinMax this week, which I got to listen to that. I didn't know they talked about that.
Oh.
Are there any other situations like that you guys have been in over the years? And I assume that means like quoted.
Were we praised games that didn't deserve it?
Could be taken either way, right? Yeah. I don't think I'm on any other front covers of boxes. I think some of the quotes of mine are on back covers of things.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and one of my proud moments is I was on the back cover or on the back of a Full Metal Alchemist DVD, a quote of mine, which was good.
From when you were at the Anime Mag?
When I was at New Type USA, yeah.
Nice.
But I can't recall like
I have a quote. It's not attributed to me, it's attributed to EGM. But it's from my preview of WCW versus the World for the PlayStation 1, and I just looked it up right now. It's on the back of the box, and it says, quote, ellipses, sets the standards for next generation wrestling games, ellipses, unquote.
Yeah.
So I don't remember
really
exactly what I said.
Really have to watch out for that, because there's a lot of things that could be hidden behind those ellipses.
Well, this is this was not taken from a review. I can tell you that much. It was taken from a preview.
Yeah,
and
they usually
are. They usually are.
Yeah, and you remember how it was at EGM, where this was during the we have to be very, very positive in our reviews.
Well, not very positive. You just couldn't be negative.
Right.
Actually, it might have been you had to be positive.
No, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that was in
previews. Yeah.
Ed wanted positivity.
Ed wanted
positivity because he didn't want the game companies mad at us, and sets the standard for next generation wrestling games. Certainly sounds like something a hack writer would write to fill out the space of a preview.
Oh, that was the worst.
For a game that he probably didn't play and didn't really have much of an interest in to begin with.
Yeah.
So, way to go to that hack writer. Got him on the box. Good for you. Aren't you proud of yourself?
I mean, I guess now one of the benefits to online writing is they don't even preview a lot of games that are smaller.
That's true.
Back in the day, we had to write
previews
of games that really didn't deserve previews. But I can't recall any others offhand. A lot of times, certainly the Bubsy 3D thing isn't attributed to me personally. It's just EGM, and
which was usually the case.
Yeah, that was usually the case. So it didn't say the person's name
right
on it. But I can't think of anything else offhand.
Yeah, as far as I know, that WCW game was my only box quote that I generated over the years. I think.
I think I had a few, but I don't remember any of them except one,
Yeah.
which is, and it's not even a box quote, but the only reason I remember it is because it was such a big deal for us when we started Gaming Age.
Mm-hmm.
We ended up giving Microsoft Flight Sim 98 an award. I think like best PC sim of the year or something like that. And they slapped a sticker on the box that said that our site had given it that award, which was a big deal. That was the first time our site was on anything.
Oh.
So I remember that. I still have the game downstairs just because of that. But I mean, I know I've had quotes on boxes in subsequent years, but nothing as infamous as CJ's Bubsy quote, and to the point that I don't remember.
Hard to top that.
I don't remember them.
Yeah. All right, let's do this one from hacker alias Hoity, who says, why do devs make content no one plays, playing through DLC for Outer Worlds, and the achievements have less than 1% completion? Similarly, games like the Telltale Walking Dead series have unmissable achievements, and you can see the steady drop-off as you progress through the game. I think so. In Outer Worlds case, Outer Worlds, if I remember correctly, it launched on Game Pass. So if you were playing it on Xbox, the reason why some of that content has less than 1% played is because it takes into account every account that has played that game. So, so something like the DLC for it, which wasn't on Game Pass, isn't going to have a high completion rate because those people didn't get it for free. So, but it's all counted in the same pool, right? It's a very similar thing with Sea of Thieves, which has been out now for 4.5 years almost, and they add new achievements to it quite frequently. And all of those that pop are the rare achievement sound, not Rare the developer, but Rare scarcity.
Right.
Because such a low percentage of the total player population has gotten those. So that's just going to be a thing unless Microsoft changes how they compute that stuff. That's always going to be the case. And it's very similar with PlayStation Plus. Games that are on PS Plus that have a high player pool, those achievements are going to probably be a pretty low completion rate as well. So it's really only games, you can really judge it on games that haven't been part of those programs. And yeah, it's always interesting to me to see like how many people have finished the game, and usually it's a low percentage, and that's why a lot of the talks at GDC or a lot of game development blogs and things will say like, don't hide your best content at the end of the game.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
You're absolutely not going to. Most of your players won't even see it, right?
I remember having that conversation when I first got into game dev, and I don't even remember what boss it was about, but there was some boss in the game that a lot of us felt was like some section of the game, a lot of us felt was like the coolest part of the game, but it was smack in the middle of the game and not at the end. Like we felt the end was kind of weak, content wise. And I remember having that conversation with my boss and him saying, now this was 20 years ago, but him saying something very similar was just like, we have loads of studies. This is way before achievements or, analytics or anything like that. But we have loads of studies that show that like 15% of your players are going to see anything past hour 10 or whatever it was. Right. So it's like, you can't hide your best content at the end of the game because almost no one's going to see it. So
exactly. Yeah. All right. Let's wrap up with this one from Night Attack 09, who says, after hearing Whimsical Phil talk about his shame of not playing Final Fantasy VI on an extra episode, what's your greatest video game shame?
Well, I've never
doing a
played Final Fantasy
weekly
VI.
podcast with someone who didn't play Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah, that's a pretty big one. I didn't play very much of Mario Galaxy. Or
Really?
Mario
Me neither.
Galaxy 2.
I loved Mario Galaxy 2, but I didn't really play much of the first one.
Wow.
Like I really liked both of those games, but I just never played very much of either one.
I guess Greg's off to play it now.
I guess he is.
Yeah.
But I also never played Grand Theft Auto 3 at all.
Oh, at all?
At all.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I don't think so.
I mean, I've never played a GTA game for more than like, let's say 5 hours.
I haven't either. I don't think I ever played Vice City either.
Oh, really?
Which is, considered one of the better
I played
GTAs. I played 4,
yeah,
and then I haven't played 5. I think I have 5 because it was given out as a free game.
Yeah, I played 3. I played Vice City. I played San Andreas.
Yeah.
I
haven't played San Andreas either.
I played a bit of 4, and then just
played a bit of 4,
and that's when I stopped. And I never bothered with 5.
4. I played Chinatown Wars, but that doesn't really count. Chinatown Wars is a top-down DS game.
I'll tell you what I did play.
Yeah,
was Bully.
I've played Bully. But
finished Bully.
Maybe not more than 5 hours.
I finished Bully. I got the full 1,000 achievements in Bully, for crying out loud.
Oh my gosh!
I love Bully. Bully is great.
Yeah.
They should make a new Bully. We should do a special episode where we play Bully and then just talk about how great it is.
I like that idea.
That sounds like a great idea. Maybe that can be like some sort of Patreon stretch goal or something. We could do.
You're never gonna make me play Bully.
Like a book club, but for video games, if such a thing can exist. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
alrighty, and that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question for us or would like to comment on something you heard, you can direct that to @P1 Podcast on the Twitters, or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find our contact information. You'll find blog entries about Sega CD stuff from Mr. Greg Seward. You will also find Generation 16 episodes there as well, like the 1991 recap video that Greg recently released. It's about an hour long and well worth your time.
It's really good. I'm glad you liked it, CJ. Thanks so much for bringing it up.
I haven't watched the whole thing yet. I'm watching parts. Yeah,
I certainly have.
Well, there you go. Yes. And you will find on our website, you'll find show notes and links to all the things that we talked about. And you will find a link to our Discord server where you can discuss this episode with us and our other listeners.
If you would like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting player1podcast.com or by loading up your favorite podcast listening app. We're also on Stitcher Radio or on Spotify. You can like us on Facebook. You can watch video archives of our show on the youtubes.com/P1 podcast. You can also watch us live most weeks on the YouTubes, Facebooks, the Twitters, the Twitch, televisions, all over the danged place. Just follow our Twitter account, which is @P1 Podcast, to find out when we are doing our next live show. And if you like what you've heard, and how could you, head over to patreon.com/P1 Podcast. Throw a few shekels our way. If so, CJ might be able to spring for the good hotel Wi-Fi.
It's $4.95 a day.
Yeah, skim a little off the top and start paying for the big hotel Wi-Fi.
Has it been bad this episode? I don't think it's been
fine.
Is it?
You seemed to kind of freeze up a little bit at one point.
Oh yeah, okay.
But what do I know?
That's just me.
It could have been just you just season up for a second.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. Hey, and I'll tell you what, though, your Patreon funds do actually help support our show, keep us streaming every week and all that nonsense. And I'll tell you what, if you are a Patreon supporter of the $5 tier,
cheap.
Look at that. You came back just in time for your big cue.
I'm a professional, Phil.
Oh, that's great.
That's right.
That's great. Were you like in the bathroom going pee with the door open, like hoping that I slow down before I get to your part so you don't have to rush back?
It's been 2 weeks since I had to say this line on cue, so I was actually in the bathroom practicing in the mirror.
Oh no, that's good.
Oh,
It was great. It sounded natural.
Thanks.
Cheap. I love it.
Acting.
You know what though? Yeah, your cheap $5 tier gets you access to a special bonus show that we record every week right after this one, where we play games, crack wise, having fun, doing all the stuff we can't do on the regular show. CJ, do we have a game this week?
we do
Oh, good.
have
What is
one.
it? What is it?
That's a Jeopardy game.
Oh,
It's
Oh,
from
God,
a-
it's
from a
not with the
listener?
same person as last time, is it?
It's Mr. Nelson. Yes. Are you ready?
He apologized for the last one.
That's
I
true.
did.
Twitter.
He did.
So
Yeah, but we're gonna
thoroughly
play
did
another
he
one.
embarrass us
Oh my God, that was brutal.
that he actually apologized of his own accord.
That's true. He
My
did.
goodness. Okay, well,
Yeah.
maybe this will be like stupid easy to make us feel
It couldn't be more
artificially
difficult.
better about ourselves. I'll tell you what, if you have a couple bucks left over, head over to patreon.com/Greg Seward. Only one T in there, and it's at the end.
That's right.
True.
You can help support Greg's outstanding and his outstanding web series about North America's favorite runner-up, the Sega Genesis.
Thank you, Phil. And if you are a supporter of the $5 variety,
Also cheap.
the devil's a
Oh.
supporter.
I
Gotta make
love
sure
the
I-
show.
Gotta make sure I
It
add in
is
my credits.
outstanding. Phil's right.
Thanks, Devil.
Of course.
You get access to the Weekly Commute, which is my weekly vlog series where I talk about the production of Generation 16, among other videos that I work on every week and try to get posted on YouTube, as well as other fun little tidbits, bits and pieces. Today I was, again, talking about my very first experience working at the Ziff Davis office in Oak Brook.
No.
Yeah, and how John Riccardi flew me in to work on a Final Fantasy VI strategy guide for a week, and no one was there when I showed up. And that's when Gary Steinman and I became friends. So you have to check it out if you want to hear the full story. But thank you so much for your support.
Very nice. Is that it?
That's it.
Is that it? Oh, hey, did you guys watch that Prey movie?
I heard
Not
it's
yet.
awesome. I can't
I've
wait
heard
to
it's
watch
great.
it.
It's a treat. I watched it last
Yeah.
night.
Excellent.
My son has said because we were going to watch it this weekend, and he's never seen the original Predator.
Oh,
So I was like, well, we got to watch the original Predator first. All the other ones we can skip, but
Oh yeah.
we
Don't
got
worry
to watch the
about those.
first one. So,
Yeah, they finally made a good Predator sequel.
yeah,
Love
it only
it.
took 30 years.
I know, right?
40 years.
It's
Not 40 years.
And it's
yeah, but
not.
it's
It didn't
pretty
even
damn
get
close.
released in theaters.
I know,
Oh,
right?
Man.
Yeah,
Yeah. I did
I'm
see on
excited about
Twitter.
watching it though.
I did see on Twitter. Jesse the Body Ventura was talking up how great it was.
Really?
Oh,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
nice.
He's a goddamn sexual
Yeah.
tyrannosaur. So
He sent a tweet to I forget her name, the woman who stars in it.
I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, but just basically saying this movie's outstanding. You were great in it. Welcome to
Awesome.
the Predator family.
Oh, I
Amber
love to hear
Mid
that.
Thunder.
That's the one.
Love to hear that.
And she was great. She's great in it. So yeah,
Mm.
it's a pretty top notch movie. So go
Excellent.
watch it.
Yeah,
Go watch it
definitely.
right now.
Definitely.
Let's not even do this after
I'm
show.
gonna.
Okay.
I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Let's
this
just
week.
do a riff tracks.
Let's do it.
Do we got
Just
2
watch
hours?
that movie.
I don't have 2 hours.
CJ,
Yeah.
thank you
Thank you, Phil.
so much. Enjoy Illinois. What town are you in Illinois? If you don't mind
I
me
can't
asking.
say. No.
You can't say.
Come on. OPSEC.
Okay.
Come on.
CJ's
What?
groupies
Oh,
follow him around.
my goodness. Okay. Well, enjoy some Portillo's.
Oh man,
I will. Thank
Get
you.
some
I
Chicago
enjoyed some
pizza.
Giordano's earlier today.
I got to
I
get to
see.
Seattle sometime with you guys so that we can at least go get some Chicago style pizza. I know I have to go to Seattle. Doesn't make sense, but it's cheaper for me to go to Seattle than all three of us go to Chicago. So
That is true.
That's true.
Yeah, and there's that, and at the University Village, I believe, in
Yes.
Seattle, there's a
that's where we went last time, I think.
a
is.
little Chicago deep dishy place.
It's good times.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
times.
Gregory.
Yo,
Thank you
thank you, Philip.
as well, and of course a big old thank you to you, our wonderful listeners, every single one of you. As always, take care of yourself, your loved one, your family, your friends. Do what you got to do to be safe. And we hope beyond hope to see y'all next week. Toodly oodlies.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.